balon sa Iloilo
I,
City ang
I was
City
in
Health
the gym.
Office. Ito'y
Kahit
para
pa paano
mamatay ang mga
pinapakita ko
mikrobong
yung
posibleng nasa
post ko yun.
tubig. Kasunod
Na
yan ang
kailangan gawin ng
pagdedeklara
mga
ng state of
ages
calamity roon,
60,
bunsod ng
61,
pagdami ng mga sakit na
60 ano.
nakukuha sa maruming pagkain at tubig.
Para
Halos
at least
11,000 sa mahigit 19,000 na
healthy
mga
yung katawan
balon
namin.
ang
So
na-inspeksyon
yun,
na. Pero ayon sa
hindi naman
WHO,
yan, kasi hindi naman sa dati ko nang ginagawa
na
yan, but
nakitaan ng
it would be
mikrobyo ang tubig,
advisable
hindi
for
pa rin ito
us.
ligtas inumin.
Gawin.
Pwede lang daw itong magamit sa
So ngayon, iba
paglalaba
naman
at
itong gagawin
paglilinis
ko.
sa bahay.
Yeah.
188 naman sa 241 water refilling stations sa lungsod ang
Nagawa
na-inspeksyon na
naman
ng
tayo
mga
ng
tauhan ng CHO.
Silence 3.
29 water refilling
The usual
stations
na
ang
ginagawa
pinasara
ng iba
dahil
para
nag-ooperate daw
pag
kahit na kulang sa mga
magkaroon sila
dokumento.
maraming watch fire. So, ito muna ako ha. Anyway, tuto ko lang muna din para. Daldal ako ng daldal, may headset nga pala ako, may mic nga pala ako. Ayan. So, hello sa lahat po ng aking watcher o yung nanonood po ng aking silent stream. And my name is Brownie. So, I'll start lang ng paggawa naman ng script. Naka-silent stream naman ako, pero hindi kasi ganun kadaling gumawa ng script. Inaantay mo kasi yung tamang takbo ng inyong hindi teleserye. So, I was planning na pagdating ng episode 5, medyo ma-action yung gagawin namin. So, medyo paano na ako ngayon. Paiba na yung takbo ng namin. Kasi medyo nag-iingat lang kami dahil kasi mga bata yung yung kasama namin. Iwas din ako sa aksidente dahil mahirap din naman yun. Siyempre, cargo ng production yun. So, ingat-ingat lang kami. Yun na nga yung delegado, yung pang-5th episode. Pero yun yung pinakamaganda so far na mangyayari, magaganap. Okay. Aking nandun yung aking executive producer. Teka. Busy sila sa chismis. Good evening. So, ayan. Okay.
Lumabas sa investigasyon na may ticket tayo ng biktima sa Tagaytay noong July 19. Sa parehong araw, inutusan daw ni Tolosa ang isang opisyal ng kumpanya na maghanda ng katumbas ng mahigit 5 milyong pisong cash at 2 mamahaling relo. Ang sinakyan ng biktima, sunog na nang matagpuan sa Pampanga noong July 20. Natagpuan naman ang kanyang sunog na bangkay sa Santo Tomas, Batangas. 3 mga suspect ang naunang sumubo sa pulisya. First episodes pa lang angat na ang pagiging competitive ng Running Man Philippines team. At hindi lang sa telebisyon yan tinutukan ng mga manonood. Trending din ito online. Yan ang chika ni Orby Caranto. Nagsimula na ang takbuhan sa world premiere ng Running Man Philippines na
Ano daw?
entirely in South Korea at co-production SBS at GMA Network. Sumabak agad ang Running Man PH team sa una nilang misyon para makuha ang kanilang main tags. Unang nakatapos si Rulo Madrid.
Napanood ko yung Running Man. So, ganun sila lang ang competitive. So, yung ako masayang opportunity na nagkaroon ako ng chance na maging partner ng Running Man.
Ang ikalawa nilang misyon, nahati sila sa 2 teams at nasubukan ang kanilang archery skills. Dito na rin nagsimula ang signature Running Man game na name tag ripping. Trending din ang segment na flying chair game dahil si Lexi Gonzalez lumipad unexpectedly. Nauso pa nga ang hashtag Justice for Lexi. Umangat din ang kalabang side ni Angel Guardian na tinaguri ang dark horse ng grupo.
I discovered something about myself na hindi ko ina-expect na, uy, meron pala ako nun.
Marami rin nakapansin sa leadership skills ni Micael Daes na tinaguri ang The Captain. At ang malaki rin ang mga atake ni Liza de Castro, a.k.a. Boss G.
Patok din ang kwela and funny antics ni Buboy Villar at ang epic reactions ni Cocoy de Santos. Pero makakalaban man sa mga missions and races, isang magandang samahan daw ang nabuo nila as one running man team.
Ay, hindi lang sila basta mahusay na artista, mabubuting tao to.
Ang first 2 episodes ng Running Man itong weekend, tinutukan at kinaaliwan ng mga kapuso. Bukod sa magagandang feedback, panalo rin sila sa ratings. Kaya sa mga nabitin, dapat abangan sa Sabado at Linggo ang Running Man Philippines para malaman kung sino ang tatanghaling Best Running Man Agent. Aubrey Garambel, updated sa showbiz happenings.
Up next, ang saya ng atin sa fans ng Lambukalang Kanan na sina Lolong, Una Madrid at Dracula. Non-stop at pagtutok dito lang sa 24 oras.
Sa bahay namin, we have an idol. It's juicy nam nam, it's cheesy nam nam.
CEO Idol Cheese Dog.
Mamamalit at tusok-tusok. Take doctor prescribed Neurobion. It helps treat nerve damage and regenerate the nerves to relieve these symptoms. Neurobion.
Kasal ba ang katinayan? Dahil sa dandruff yan. You need Head and Shoulders. Unlike beauty shampoos, tanggal ang dandruff that causes kate. Head and Shoulders.
Tubig na, Neil. Sorry, dear, bro. Hataw sa asin pawis. Di kulang? Kulang. Mabilis umatake ang odor causing bacteria. Use Rexona after every bath. For ice cream freshness all day. Hataw sa freshness. 8 pesos ka.
Kahit magtaas.
Hataw sa pawis sa Dodge Under Arms. Di kulang, kulang. Mabilis umatake ang odor-causing bacteria. Use Rexona after every bath. For fresher, brighter underarms. Hataw sa brightening. Sa alalaw. Aroma pa lang. Gigisingin na ang puso mo. Aroma na lang. Swak ang timplang umaga. Ganado ka sa aroma ng ng Great Taste White. Time to relax. Try Creamo Cake. The yummy smell of soft choco cake with choco fillet with choco chips on top of it. It's Creamo Cake. Now with vanilla filling.
Paradong ilong. Vicks Inhaler. Breathe easier. Paradong ilong. Inhaler on. Mask on. Carry on. Vicks Inhaler.
May kulog talaga.
Pag nagulan kasi, nagpapato-patok ang stains at nadirang impurities, kaya may gulo. Pag Ariel Detox, nagpapatok-patok ng gal. Sorry sa gulo! Sa Ariel Detox.
Get back to fitness. The original Del Monte Fit and Right is back. With GCE and L-carnitine that may help you absorb less sugar. Protein vegetable also available in Fit and Right Advance. Your fitness, your way.
I don't worry about damage because I have power over it.
New Cream Silk Salon Expert Daily Treatment with keratin and collagen duo serum. So every strand is repaired and renewed.
Intense damage recovery from Cream Silk.
Bukas tayo. Isiin ang sa sarap ng Ladies' Choice Ham Spread. Plus real ham at farm fresh eggs. For that sweet ham binam-nam, the mini was so sarap.
You're the best, Mom.
Ladies' Choice Ham Spread.
Downy Kapit Bango. Para sa all-day schoolitan, dapat all-day Kapit Bango. Downy. 6 pesos lang.
A Vicks Zico Natural Sleep Storm.
Ganyan lang, may nakaimdad.
Maganda ang isig.
New Vicks
Mamaya ako.
Zico Natural Sleep. Mentol gummy with botanical extracts. Vicks Zico Natural Sleep. Ano ba ang Vicks Zico Natural Sleep? Ay, hindi pa sa
Lucky me at nakasama kita. Nung pinagluto ka ng favorite mo. Nung ginabi ka. O nung nag-review ka hanggang umaga.
final interview mo na. Nung kailangan ng comfort ng puso mo at ngayong narinig mo ang totoo, sana ako pa rin ang piliin mong makasama. Sarap ng samahan, sarap ng walang iwanan. Lucky me.
Pag-uwi ng anak mo, di na siya amoy presko. Amoy bakteryasin, no! Yung safeguard mask pinabang mo, tanggal bakteryasin mo. Max linis pang mo, yung safeguard mask pinabang mo.
I love you this much.
Kids learn faster and their brain connections are stronger. New Similac Gain School, designed for stronger immunity and higher IQ. Our best ever Similac Gain School. Chicken sandwich wraps. Extra surprise! Ganito pala sa Burger King. Ang power ng outcome.
Daming ingredients.
Burger King, extra long chicken. Extra chicken. Extra filling. And tasty. Extra stars at 59.
Status baby? Check sa alaga ni Mommy. Kaya magana. At iwas sakit. Sulit sa tiki-tiki. May hanap boosters. At iwas sakit vitamin. Ang tatat, tiki-tiki.
Hindi lang yan. Mahalagang para ang tikitig, bigyan at hindi dapat gamitin pagkakas sa mga pulis.
Ooh, baby, work's done now. For thick chocolate sandwich between two chocolate cookies. A delicious reward for a day well done.
$2,000 sabihin mo. Magulat ka sa mga
I'll get the straight and silky hair you love.
I'm blow dry. I refound it.
Not afraid of damage?
What damage?
New Dove Straight and Silky with keratin tri-silk serum. Deeply repairs hair bonds for extra straight, extra smooth, extra shiny hair. New Dove.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Headset pala ako. Thank you. Tropang pangit.
Sa darating na Sabado na magsisimula ang pinag-react season ever.
Please naman, pagkikidnapin niyo ako, ano na lang, tricycle na lang gamitin niyo sa akin. Huwag na yung van kasi, susuka kasi ako, may ano kasi ako, rotis. Hello guys, good morning sa ating lahat. Kahit po, sinusuklayan ako ni Mama kasi.
Matapos ang matagumpay na pagkatapos ng NCAA Season 97, magaganap na ang kick-off ng itinuturing ng biggest season ever ng pinakaunang liga sa Pilipinas, ang NCAA Season 98. May tema yung Achieve Greatness Every Day. Sa media launch ng Season 98, humarap sa sports at entertainment media ang 10-member schools ng NCAA. Ang Arellano University, Colegio de San Juan de Lima, De La Salle College of St. Benil, Jose Rizal University, Lyceum of the Philippines, Mapuba University, San Beda University, San Sebastian College Recoletos, University of Perpetual Health System Delta, at ang host school ng NCAA Season 98 na Emilio Aguinaldo College. Present din sa media launch ang management committee, coaches ng men's basketball team, at ilan sa mga star players ng mga member schools. Natanong ng media ang mga coach tungkol sa kanilang adjustment at training sa laro. Karamihan sa kanila, nagsabing exciting at kaabang-aba ang magiging tapatan ngayong Season 98. Malugod din tinanggap sa media launch ng Commission on Higher Education ang isinumiteng requirement ng NCAA na compliance policies and guidelines of the return to collegiate athletic training. We will all achieve greatness every day for the sake of our bodies and for the sake of sports development in this country.
Formal na rin pinakilala sa media ang mga NCAA Season 98 hosts at mga Season 98 courtside reporter. Ito na ang ikatlong season ng NCAA kung saan broadcast partner ang Kapuso Network.
FCMA Network, led by our Chairman and CEO, Atty. Felipe L. Gozo, especially your senior team. We are very excited
to show the fruits of our meticulous planning and preparation for season 19.
This coming Saturday, September 10 at Buena Manong Sasaba sa hardcore para sa season ng Season 1. May Lady Abinado College Generals, kalaban ang Arellano University Schools. Maglalaban naman sa second team ang Macapal University Cardinals at San Miguel University Red Lions. Bukod yan at sa women's volleyball tournaments, sabay-sabay ng sila ng fans sa season 98 at ibang sporting events gaya ng swimming, running, women's basketball, men's basketball, taekwondo, chess, at volleyball na susundan ng all-star basketball at volleyball teams. Kaabang-abang ang opening ceremony sa Sabado na puno ng performances mula sa mga special guest performers na kapuso artists. Siyempre, kasama sa school spirit ang mga muses ng 10-member schools ng NCAA. Kabilang na ang ilan sa mga pinag-uusapang artista at hosts ng GMA. Mag-perform din ang NCAA Season 98 cheerleaders. Mapapanood lahat ng yan live sa Araneta Coliseum at simulcast sa GMA at GTV. First ng hapon.
Sabay pala kami ni Ma'am Leonard.
JP Solyana, nakatutok, 24 oras.
Background ko is Filipino, ano? Filipino ba? Philippine background. Hopefully nakikinig si Ma'am Ling. Hello, Ma'am Ling. Teka, ano kaya ito?
Nailagbang na tenda sa lungsod ng Muntinlupa. Idinulog yan ng mga residente sa sumbong ng bayan.
Ay, pwede ba shout out? Sorry ha. Sorry, miss. Merry Christmas! Dinner muna. Sige lang. Okay lang. Dinner lang kayo. Bahal ka pa naman. How ba may pinagtanong? Ernesto, may pinagtanong. Yun ang tulog ninyo. May pinagtanong. Meron akong anak ko.
Sa ngayon, muli raw bumulo ng proyekto habang magpapalala sa retail sa access rate. Ingat din ng DPWH na malalagyan na ng araw at lugar para sa kaligtasan ng mga tumalaan.
Dahil sa kanya na patuloy na pagsubaybay mga kapuso, namumuno pa rin sa ratings ang action drama series sa primetime na Lolo. Mayroon nilang pa-daycare, isang meet and greet and selfie wall, ang kanilang ihanda sa family. Okay, we're gonna go into Amber Get One. No.
Tatamang o mga young at heart. Hindi pinalagpas ang selfie mo ng lolo sa Plaza Miranda sa kanila. Ayaw ang family and friends At kahit naulan, welcome everyone to the sa pagpapakuha ng picture at kasilan. Kaya deserve ito maraming card at thumbs up mula sa mga kapuso. Ingat lang kasi, makagat ka ng nasa, selfie mo. Pasasalamat ng dapalang selfie sa patuloy na pagkakilit ng mga manonood.
Maganda kasi yun nakakaiba yung teleserye kasi para siyang fantasy. Kasi parang bukalagin na kasi nila sa lalo. Yung pag-work nila. Ito pa kasi question yung order.
Nagpasaya rin ang kapusong band sa isang mall sa Antipolo, si Todo Turo Madrid. Kumanta at mahilo din siya ang nakiselfie. Doon siyempre si Dakina. Abangan ang umiting pagsuguro sa Dapawan Series.
You've got the idea. GoDaddy has the domain to make it happen. Find your domain at godaddy.com.
Boxing promotion na sa Serbania ay talagang pinagigiliwan at inaabangan ng mga maraming boxing fans. Sa tuwing ito ay may mga laban. Taong 2013 buwan ng Oktubre, nakakalaban ito ang Panama boxer na si Rafael Concepcion na ginanap ang kanilang bakbakan sa Cebu City Waterfront Hotel and Casino. Para paglabanan ang bakanting WBO Intercontinental Super Bantamweight title. May kartada nooy ang El Torito na 18 wins, 8 knockouts, 6 na talo at 1 tabla. Habang si Serbania naman ay may undefeated record na 22 wins, 10 knockouts at walang talo. Bagamat kapuna-puna ang kartada ni Concepcion, ay hindi mo pa rin ito pwedeng isang bahala. Dahil kung ating babalikan taong 2009, ay nakakalaban lang naman ito ang isang dekalibreng Pinoy boxer na si Nonito Donaire. Bagamat hindi man ito pinalad na manalo, ay nagbigay naman ito ng tibay na umabot pa sa 12 rounds. At nakasaghupa rin ito ang tinaguriang basuka na si AJ Bernal na siya rin ang bumasag sa nooy napakagandang impresibong kartada na 17 wins, walang talo at tinapos niya lamang sa pamamagitan na isang 10-round knockout victory.
Meron din po tayong speaker. Tingnan niyo na mga sale.
Dahil sa mga Pinoy na kanyang nakasagupa, ay nagkaroon ito ng malakas na kumpiyansa sa kanyang sarili. Kaya naman ganoon na lamang maliitin ito ang Pinoy na si Genesis Serbania. Nagpakita pa nga ito ng larawan na may hawak na una na nakalagay sa mukha ng ating kababayan. At sinabing gagamitin daw ito ni Serbania kapag ito ay pinatulog niya na sa oras ng kanilang laban. Nabanggit nga din ito na kung ikukumpara ang lakas ni Serbania, ay walang sinabi ito sa lakas ni AJ Basuka Banal at mas may thrill pa nga itong kalaban. Sa hindi pagpansin at pagiging tahimik ni Serbania, makikita sa unang round na pinakita nito na hindi niya nagustuhan ang naging asal ng dayuang boksingero. Kaya naman nakalasap ito ng mga mabibigat na suntok na galing sa ating kababayan.
Julius Babao.
Sa ikalawang round, hindi na pinagbigyan ni Servania ang hambog na si Concepcion na magpasikat sa mismong balwarte ng ating kababayan. Matapos nitong tapusin sa pamamagitan ng isang pamatay na uppercut. Sa lakas nga ng suntok ni Servania ay nanginig pa ang tuhod nito at nawala na ito ng malay na agad naman itinigil ng referee ang laban. Ang mga sinabi ng hambog na si Concepcion na gusto mangyari sa ating kababayan ay tila lumiko papunta sa kanya. Ang una na nabanggit para kay Servania ay para pala kay Concepcion. Dahil sa tagumpay na ito, ay nakuha ni Servania ang bakanting WBO Intercontinental Super Bantamweight title. Setyembre 11 taong 2015 na makasagupan ng ating Pinoy na si Carlo Magali ang undefeated na Australiano na si David Brown Jr. para sa bakanting IBF Pan Pacific Super Featherweight title. Na kung saan lumipas ang mga ilang rounds makikita mo na halos lupay-pay na ang kanilang boksingero. Ngunit ito ay pinagpatuloy pa rin ng kanilang team. Umabot na sa ika-6 na round, masasabi mo na delikado na ang lagay ng Australiano at naging saksi dito ang referee, doktor at 2 inspektor sa nasabing laban. Dahil dito ay naging tanong ito ng marami dahil kahit sino sa kanila ay may kapangyarihan upang itigil na ang laban. Pagtunog pa lamang ng bell sa final round, halos hindi na may hakbang na Australiano ang kanyang mga paa at ang kanyang coach ay humingi pa nga ng konting minuto para tignan ang kalagayan ng kanilang boksingero. Ngunit ito ay tinulak ng referee palabas ng ring upang simulan na ang huling laban. Ngunit ito na pala ang senyales na meron ng masamang iniindang sakit ang Australiano. Ni kahit isa walang nakakaalam, kahit ang coach ni David Brown at mga doktor at referee. At matapos manakot ni Magali si David Brown sa nalalabi ng 30 seconds ng 12 rounds, na kung saan sa di inaasahang pangyayari ay namatay kinalauna ng Australiano dahil sa natamo nitong brain injury sa ating kababayan. Ano nga ba ang maidudulot sa iyo at sa iyong karera kapag ikaw ay nakadisgrasya ng kapwa boksingero na katulad mo? Ganito ang naramdaman ng ating kababayan matapos nitong makalaban ang undefeated na si Bride Smith o mas kilala sa tawag na The Great White. Marso taong 2015, palaban sa Australia ang Pinoy na si John Vincent Morante na tubong General Santos City sa mismong balwarte ng kanyang kalaban. Ginanap ang laban na may malinis na kartada ang 2 boksingero nito at talagang may talento sa pagboboksing. Ngunit pagsapit ng 10 rounds ay nagwagibayang unanimous decision si Morante. Walang umanong senyales ng masama sa lagay ni Smith pagkatapos ng laban at nagpalitrato pa nga ito kasama si Morante at mga ilang fans. Pero nag-collapse ito pagdating sa dressing room at agad naman itong isinugod sa ospital sa Spain. Pero pumanaw din ito kinalaunan. Kaya matapos sa mga pangyayaring ito, ay naiulat ito sa buong mundo at isa sa rason kung bakit may nagsulong na ipagbawal na ang boxing sa Australia. Kaysa magsaya ang ating boksingero sa kanyang tagumpay, ay ito ang naging epekto sa kanya at sa tuwing may laban ito, ay kita na may pag-aalilangan na ito.
Sorry, condolence na lang. Condolence sa family Smith. Ganyan talagang boxing, ma'am. Tapos, Parehas kami naghirap eh. Parehas kaming gustong manalo. Hindi ko paniwala ma'am na ganun nangyari sa kanya.
Kaya hindi biro ang mag-iisang boksingero. Dahil kapag nakatungtong na ang isa mong paa, ay kahulugan lang nun ay nasa hukay na ang iyong buhay. Kung aking ibabalik ang aking
Maraming bagay ang kahinahinala.
Nakalala sa friend o pinangagulan sa unexpected na.
Bakit mga bakit
Karaway po ba ito?
kung kailan nagkakagaanan ng loob?
Ewan po kasi sinabi niya sa akin na
Ako mawawala.
Dapat tatanggalin siya. Matagal ang bata.
Gusto nyo, iwanan ko ang buhay ko dito at iwanan ko si Sir.
Pero harapan na niya para maging bahagi ng buhay.
Hindi pa po ba kayo sinasabi sa akin? Kung aalis ko tayo, bigyan niyo ako ng pagkakataon ng paalimpiyaan.
Depende kasi sa ano dati.
sa last na kasama niya. Nararamdaman ko. Kapag bigyan ka ng pangalawang pagkakataon.
Pero paano kung inapan mo na ito at nag-iwan alam mo?
May alam ka tungkol sa bahay na to, Presidenta. Nung namatay pa si Doña Cristina, pinagmuto ang kanya.
At paano kung ang mundo ay hindi nakikita ng mga mata? Pag-jurisdiction na ng lumabalik at nakikita sa ating
Mr. Berger, this is Special Agent Stanton of the FBI. Mr. Berger? I don't believe you're stealing your own plans. Please fall out in your pajamas. Why the heck don't you tell us what's going on?
sa kapamilya online.
Sound
Simple sakit ng ulo, magdamag,
Don't you think that's funny?
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 most intense actors of all time.
Look at that subtle off-white coloring. The tasteful thickness of it. Oh my god. It even has a watermark.
For this list, we'll be looking at performers who dive headfirst into every role, even at great personal cost. If you think we missed someone that should be on this list, leave your picks in the comments below. Number 10, Jared Leto. When he's not rocking out with his band 30 Seconds to Mars, this lead singer is manipulating both his physical appearance and mental state for his acting roles.
I love this guy. He's so intense.
Leto has been known to take on the persona of his characters both on and off the set. During the filming of 2016's Suicide Squad, Leto, who played the Joker, sent his co-star Margot Robbie a black rat as a gift.
Oh, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna hurt you. Really, really bad.
In addition to waxing his entire body for 2013's Dallas Buyers Club, Leto lost 30 pounds and shaved his eyebrows to play Rayon, a trans woman with HIV.
Why are you so good to me? Bless you, little heart.
The physical transformation paid off, resulting in an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. Number 9, Jim Carrey. He'll make you laugh, he'll make you cry, and he'll even talk with his butt. Jim Carrey is one of the most gifted comedic actors of the last 30 years, with hits like Ace Ventura and Dumb and Dumber. Despite being known for comedies, Carrey is an intense method actor for dramas, which caused many problems on the set of 1999's Man on the Moon. The comedian believed that the deceased Andy Kaufman took over his body during filming. Carrey played pranks in the cast and got into multiple altercations, even spitting in Jerry Lawler's face. In response, Lawler gave him a neck injury, and during another scene, slapped him even harder than he did the real Kaufman.
So I guess, that's too lofty a concept, for you. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Number 8, Joaquin Phoenix. You might have thought his life was a comedy, but there's nothing funny about Joaquin Phoenix's career. Initially known as River's brother, he became a critically acclaimed actor after playing Commodus in the Academy Award-winning film Gladiator.
Slave who became a gladiator.
Sige, ingat.
Gladiator to fight and never
Text ha. Text kung ano mangyayari sa mga
story.
Much of Joaquin's success can be attributed to his devotion and strict attention to detail. While filming 2005's Walk the Line, he referred to himself on the set as JR, Johnny Cash's first initials.
I keep a close watch on this heart of mine. I keep my eyes wide open all the time.
The commitment to his roles didn't stop there, as Phoenix had his jaw wired shut for 2012's The Master, and pretended to quit acting for a rap career in the 2010 mockumentary I'm Still Here. Perhaps Joaquin's next big role will be a professional dancer after he showcased his killer moves in 2019's Joker.
You just ask the same questions every week. How's your job? Are you having any negative thoughts?
Number 7, Tilda Swinton. When determining the most underrated actress in Hollywood, this Oscar winner tops the list because of her consistently good performance for Best Supporting Actor. Number 9, Jim Carrey. He'll make you laugh. Leto has been known to take on the persona of his characters both on and off the set. During the filming of 2016's Suicide Squad, Leto, who played the Joker, sent his co-star Margot Robbie a black rat as a gift.
Oh, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna hurt you. Really, really bad.
In addition to waxing his entire body for 2013's Dallas Buyers Club, Leto lost 30 pounds and shaved his eyebrows to play Rayon, a trans woman with HIV.
Why are you so good to me? Bless your little heart.
The physical transformation paid off, resulting in an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. Number 9, Jim Carrey. He'll make you laugh, he'll make you cry, and he'll even talk with his butt. Jim Carrey is one of the most gifted comedic actors of the last 30 years, with smash hits like Ace Ventura and Dumb and Dumber.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Despite being known for comedies, Carrey is an intense method actor for dramas, which caused many problems on the set of 1999's Man on the Moon. The comedian believed that the deceased Andy Kaufman took over his body during filming. Carrey played pranks in the cast and got into multiple altercations, even spitting in wrestler Jerry Lawler's face. In response, Lawler gave him a neck injury, and during another scene, slapped him even harder than he did the real Kaufman.
So I guess, that's too lofty a concept, for you. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Number 8, Joaquin Phoenix. He might have thought his life was a comedy, but there's nothing funny about Joaquin Phoenix's career. Initially known as River's brother, he became a critically acclaimed actor after playing Commodus in the Academy Award-winning film Gladiator.
Slave who became a gladiator. Gladiator defied an emperor. Striking story.
Much of Joaquin's success can be attributed to the set during the filming of 2016's Suicide for his acting roles.
I love this guy. He's so intense.
Leto has been known to take the persona of his characters both on and off the set. During the filming of 2016's Suicide Squad, Leto, who played the Joker, sent his co-star Margot Robbie a black rat as a gift.
Oh, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna hurt you. Really, really bad.
In addition to waxing his entire body for 2013's Dallas Buyers Club, Leto lost 30 pounds and shaved his eyebrows to play Rayon, a trans woman with HIV.
Why are you so good to me? Bless your little heart.
The physical transformation paid off, resulting in an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. Number 9, Jim Carrey. He'll make you laugh, he'll make you cry, and he'll even talk with his butt. Jim Carrey is one of the most gifted comedic actors of the last 30 years, with smash hits like Ace Ventura and Dumb and Dumber.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Despite being known for comedies, Carrey is an intense method actor for dramas, which caused many problems on the set of 1999's Man on the Moon. The comedian believed that the deceased Andy Kaufman took over his body during filming. Carrey played pranks in the cast and got into multiple altercations, even spitting in wrestler Jerry Lawler's face. In response, Lawler gave him a neck injury, and during another scene, slapped him even harder than he did the real Kaufman.
And so I guess, that's too lofty a concept, for you. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Number 8, Joaquin Phoenix. He might have thought his life was a comedy, but there's nothing funny about Joaquin Phoenix's career. Initially known as River's brother, he became a critically acclaimed actor after playing Commodus in the Academy Award-winning film Gladiator.
Slave who became a gladiator. Gladiator defied an emperor. Striking story.
Much of Joaquin's success can be attributed to his devotion and strict attention to detail. While filming 2005's Walk the Line, he referred to himself on the set as JR, Johnny Cash's first initials.
I keep a close watch on this heart of mine. I keep my eyes wide open all the time.
The commitment to his roles didn't stop there, as Phoenix had his jaw wired shut for 2012's The Master, and pretended to quit acting for a rap career in the 2010 mockumentary I'm Still Here. Perhaps Joaquin's next big role will be a professional dancer after he showcased his killer moves in 2019's Joker.
You just ask the same questions every week. How's your job? Are you having any negative thoughts?
Number 7, Tilda Swinton. When determining the most underrated actress in Hollywood, this Oscar winner tops the list because of her consistently good performances in a wide range of films.
What if I told you that your own body could be convinced to put itself back together in all sorts of ways?
Swinton is one of the rare actors to cross into multiple genres and succeed with every role. One minute, she's playing the Ancient One in the MCU, and the next minute, she's getting a spray tan for 2015's Trainwreck.
Do you like the magazine, Donald?
Oh, yes. How much I read?
Good answer. Look, this is ours. This is ours. Right, we made this.
Then there's her insane turn in 2018's Suspiria. where she played a choreographer, a witch, and an 82-year-old male doctor.
Patricia is gone, Olga. We don't know where. If she's gone into hiding, she wouldn't have told us, would she?
To play an older man, Swinton wore prosthetics all over her body, including her private area. That's dedication. Number 6, Leonardo DiCaprio.
I'm the king of the world!
He's dominated the tabloids for over 2 decades, but Leo is more than just a pretty face. DiCaprio's commitment and spellbinding presence were on full display in 2015's The Revenant, where the actor ate raw bison liver and pushed his body to new limits. This Oscar winner knows that when the cameras are rolling, anything goes.
Pull yourself together, Teddy. Pull yourself together.
During a scene in 2012's Django Unchained, DiCaprio smashed a crystal glass across his hand, causing blood to spill everywhere. Nonetheless, he powered through the scene, and the take was so raw and scary that director Quentin Tarantino used it in the final cut.
To the man with the exceptional beard.
Thankfully, Leo only needed a few stitches. Number 5, Robert De Niro.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Everything you need to know about Robert De Niro stems from that one phrase. Intense, dedicated, and magnetic. De Niro went full method for his performance as Travis Bickle in 1976's Taxi Driver. The 2-time Oscar winner obtained an actual taxi license and worked as a cab driver in New York City.
Are you Charles Palantine, the candidate?
Yes, I am.
I'm one of your biggest supporters, you know. I tell everybody that comes in this taxi that they have to vote for you.
Bobby D continued to physically transform for his roles through the next decade, highlighted by a 60-pound weight gain to play boxer Jake LaMotta in 1980's Raging Bull.
You remember that scene in the back of the car with his brother Charlie, a small-time racket guy, and it went something like this.
You can't argue with the results as De Niro became one of the best actors of his generation. Number 4, Nicolas Cage. Where do we even begin with one of the biggest lightning rods in Hollywood?
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah! Open my eyes!
Nicolas Cage is not afraid to push limits and go beyond boundaries. It seems that in every movie, he'll let out a sadistic scream that will leave you with more questions than answers.
H-I-J-K-L-M-N-O-P-Q-R-S-T-U-B-W-X-Y-Z!
His facial expressions in movies like 1989's Vampire's Kiss and 1997's Face Off have become viral GIFs over the years. At times, Cage can be a parody of himself, but let's not forget this passion and dedication led to an Oscar win for 1995's Leaving Las Vegas, where Cage played an alcoholic screenwriter. As long as Cage continues to make movies, he'll always be a favorite. Never change, Nick.
Got my check, and baby, I'm ready to sign.
Number 3, Charlize Theron. If you see this actress in a stairwell, run the other way. Charlize Theron is a jack of all trades that brings a high degree of seriousness and concentration to her roles.
It's the 10 seconds between start and finish when you're not thinking about anything. No family, no obligations. Just you. Being free.
Whether it's being an assassin in 2017's Atomic Blonde, a cyber terrorist in 2017's The Fate of the Furious, or the Secretary of State in 2019's Long Shot, Theron captivates the screen with her ferocious presence. The actor is a beauty icon, which is why her turn in 2003's Monster was so shocking.
Says who? I'm good with the Lord.
Theron wore multiple prosthetics and gained 30 pounds to play serial killer Eileen Wuornos. One of the most recognizable people on the planet looked like a completely different person, and the...
You've got the idea. GoDaddy has the domain to make it happen.
The result landed Theron an Academy Award for Best Actress. Number 2, Christian Bale. If you appreciate performances where actors either lose or gain a significant amount of weight, look no further than this Academy Award winner.
What is the big deal about a goddamn picture?
They say the guy in this photo doesn't exist.
From 2003 to 2005, Bale lost over 60 pounds to play an emaciated insomniac in The Machinist. When filming ended, he had only 6 months to go from 122 pounds to around 200 pounds to play Bruce Wayne in Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins. Despite entering his mid-40s, Bale continues to put his body through the ringer as evidenced by a 40-pound weight gain to play Dick Cheney in 2018's Vice.
Maybe I can handle some of the more mundane jobs, overseeing bureaucracy, managing military.
Although Bale seems like a great person, never go to his house and listen to Huey Lewis in the news.
The song's so catchy, most people probably don't listen to the lyrics. But they should, because it's not just about the pleasures of conformity and the importance of friends. It's also a personal statement about the band itself.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Michelle Williams. The actress tied a belt around her knees to learn to walk like Marilyn Monroe. Rooney Mara. Rooney underwent a complete physical transformation to play a genius computer hacker.
But I may have something.
You may have something.
Maybe.
Adrian Brody. Brody lost 30 pounds and learned to play the piano for his Oscar-winning role. Ed Harris. After 10 years, Harris finally brought his passion project to life. Sylvester Stallone. Sly has taken his fair share of real punches, even leading to time in intensive care.
Okay, take it to it. Take it to it. Take it to it.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Daniel Day-Lewis. There are committed actors, and then there's Daniel Day-Lewis.
I can imagine in certain circumstances being able to pretend that I like it made this way. Right now, I'm just admiring my own gallantry.
The legendary method performer brings an unprecedented tenacity to every role. From remaining in a wheelchair on set and learning to paint with his toes in 1989's My Left Foot, to designing and sewing dresses for 2017's Phantom Thread, Daniel Day-Lewis epitomizes the true nature of his character. His larger-than-life persona on screen culminated with 2012's Lincoln, where he spoke in an American accent and signed texts off-camera as if he were truly the 16th President of the United States.
But there is a great, invisible strength in a people's union. Say, we've shown that a people can endure awful sacrifice and yet cohere.
It's impossible for Day-Lewis to give a weak and timid performance, and for that, we thank him.
I've abandoned my child! I've abandoned my child! I've abandoned my boy!
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from Watch Mojo, and be sure...
Welcome back to War with Cinema. I'm your host, Greg, your local metalhead, and with me is...
Par the Collector. What's up, everybody?
And you chose Logan.
I did, man. And after watching this last night, it really concreted it for me. This is in my top 5 greatest superhero movies.
Did you watch the Noir? Like we agreed on?
Of course I had to watch the Noir. And I gotta see, man, it really added a lot to it. To me.
I have to agree. Like I didn't think it was going to do anything.
It almost felt like I was watching like a fucking old Western.
I think we should explore a few solutions.
Grammarly suggestions catch when your tone might undermine your message.
Do not be troubled!
or you are in Elysium, and you're already dead!
Hey, what's up everyone? It's Ryan here from The Y, and today we're gonna be taking a look at the Roman epic Gladiator. To me, it's a film that never gets old, no matter how many times you've seen it, and also one of the best in terms of portraying the culture of ancient Rome. On that note, let's get right into the video. Here's 30 facts you didn't know about Gladiator. Oliver Reed, who played Proximo, actually died midway through the production of Gladiator, forcing Scott to recreate the rest of his scenes with CGI. His death occurred one night at a local pub in Malta, where Reed, a notorious alcoholic, challenged a group of sailors to a drinking match. It's been said he drank 8 pints of German lager, a dozen shots of rum, half a bottle of whiskey, and a few shots of Hennessy. His tab came out to somewhere around $600, but he unfortunately was never able to pay it, as he suddenly collapsed after drinking that ungodly amount of alcohol. The origin story of Gladiator all started with a painting. That painting was Police Verso by Jean-Leon Jerome, and depicts a gladiator standing over a downed opponent, waiting on whether or not to spare his life. It's a beautiful work of art, and I can easily see how it only took one look for Ridley Scott to immediately sign on to the project. The original script called for Maximus to fight Proximo at the end of the film. This was intended to be a penultimate blow from Commodus by forcing Maximus to kill his close friend, but Oliver Reed's untimely death forced a rewrite of the script. In my mind, this is without a doubt one of the most iconic lines of the film.
Make sure na natatandaan mo ang importante step na tinuro ko sa inyo tungkol sa snake bite first aid. Make sure na safe ang area.
It seemingly comes out of nowhere and encompasses the personality of Commodus to perfection. And what makes it even better is the fact that Joaquin Phoenix came up with the line totally on the spot. The script only called for him to say it once, in a conversational type tone, but that apparently didn't do it for Phoenix. So he said it once again, this time with a lot more emotion. The great Italian opera singer Luciano Pavarotti was offered a chance to sing a song for the soundtrack, but turned down the opportunity. He later regretted saying no, and even released his own version of the main theme song. I'll put a link to it in the description. One of the biggest regrets the producers have about the film was that they couldn't get a rhinoceros on the screen. Supposedly, Scott really wanted a rhino in the arena, but after talking to animal trainers, it became apparent they were just too difficult to control. And because CGI was a newer technology back then, a CGI rhino was out of their price range. So, Ridley Scott never got the rhino he wanted, but maybe it'll make an appearance in Gladiator 2. Maximus's pet wolf was actually a Belgian Tervuren Shepherd. They were forced to use it because of England's strict anti-promotion. The great Italian opera singer Luciano Pavarotti was offered a chance to sing a song for the soundtrack, but turned down the opportunity. He later regretted saying no, and even released his own version of the main theme song. I'll put a link to it in the description. One of the biggest regrets the producers have about the film was that they couldn't get a rhinoceros on the screen. Supposedly, Scott really wanted a rhino in the arena, but after talking to animal trainers, it became apparent they were just too difficult to control. And because CGI was a newer technology back then, a CGI rhino was out of their price range. So, Ridley Scott never got the rhino he wanted, but maybe it'll make an appearance in Gladiator 2. Maximus's pet wolf was actually a Belgian Tervuren Shepherd. They were forced to use it because of England's strict anti-rabies laws that prevented them from importing a real wolf into the country. Additionally, the original script called for his pet to be killed in a tent, but Scott decided it would have been too depressing for the audience to watch. By many accounts, Gladiator was the first big-time movie that Joaquin Phoenix was a part of. So, it makes a lot of sense that he got extremely nervous before filming many of the scenes. What doesn't make a ton of sense is that he would ask Russell Crowe to physically abuse him to get rid of any nerves. Of course, this didn't sit too well with Crowe, so he consulted Richard Harris for advice on what to do. Harris's response? Let's get him pissed. So that's what they did, and after several pints of Guinness, Joaquin Phoenix finally loosened up a bit.
You would fight me. Why not? Do you think I'm afraid?
Russell Crowe has stated that Gladiator is his favorite movie he's ever done, and Maximus his favorite character he's ever played.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
The blur effect that happens midway through the opening battle sequence may just seem like a cool bit of filmmaking, but it was actually the result of a mistake. After about 20 days of filming on location, the crew was wrapping up on the final day when they encountered a problem. The director of photography had underestimated the remaining daylight they had, and with more scenes still to film, a decision had to be made. So, to keep the continuity in regard to lighting, and to avoid spending another day on location, they shot the rest of the scenes with a very low frame rate. Then, in post-production, they duplicated the film and stretched it back out, creating the motion blur that we see in the movie today.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
Sadly, Maximus Decimus Meridius was not a real person, meaning he didn't really kill Commodus. In real life, that honor goes to the wrestler Narcissus, who strangled Commodus to death after a failed attempt at poisoning him. The wounds on Russell Crowe's face after the opening battle sequence weren't prosthetics or makeup for the movie. They were actually real. It was caused by his horse backing up into some tree branches, which cut his face up and required stitches, which can clearly be seen here. To fill out the Colosseum, they used 2,000 extras, while another 33,000 were created with CGI. They also made a replica of the Colosseum that stood over 50 feet tall and cost an estimated $1 million to build. To put it lightly, Russell Crowe and Oliver Reed never took a liking to each other, like their on-screen chemistry would suggest. Speaking on the late actor, Crowe said, "I never got on with Ollie. He's visited me in dreams and asked me to talk kindly of him, so I should, but we never had a pleasant conversation."
Are you in danger of becoming a good man?
Several times in the movie, Commodus signaled whether a person lived or died with a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And while it's historically accurate that emperors used their thumbs to decide a person's fate, the movie only partially got it right. Back in ancient times, a thumbs down actually meant swords down, meaning the person's life was to be spared. But Ridley Scott thought this whole thing would be too confusing for audiences because of our modern idea of thumbs up being good. So that was one mistake he let slide. Anyone who's seen Gladiator most likely had the thought of whether Maximus and Lucilla were going to get together. It seemed plausible, as both were widowers, shared a common enemy, and even had a previous romantic relationship. I think a lot of directors would have taken the easy bait and put in a romance between the two, but not Ridley Scott. He rejected any notion that Maximus and Lucilla should have a sexual relationship because it would have taken away the focus from his murdered wife and son. One thing that may sound unbelievable, but is actually true, is that gladiators used to do product endorsements before they fought in the Colosseum. Ridley Scott considered the idea of having Maximus advertise olive oil before his fights, but didn't go through with it because he thought audiences would never believe it was historically accurate. For his performance as King Joffrey in Game of Thrones, Jack Gleason said Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal of Commodus had the biggest impact on shaping his own character.
They tell me your son squealed like a girl when they nailed him to the cross.
I think most people would agree that Russell Crowe is a great actor, but sometimes even great actors don't always know what sounds good. This was the case in Gladiator, when Crowe apparently thought Maximus should have a Spanish accent, similar to Antonio Banderas. Thankfully, that idea was immediately shot down by Ridley Scott after hearing his accent for the first time.
No good, Cabonarse, no good.
A second, almost huge blunder came in the form of Russell Crowe hating this iconic line.
And I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
He disliked it so much, he tried coming up with various alternatives, but nobody liked his takes, and he was eventually persuaded to just stick with the script. To top it all off, Russell Crowe told Scott, "It was but I'm the greatest actor in the world, and I can make even sound good." Russell Crowe almost said no to the part of Maximus because he was 40 pounds overweight and had a shaved head because of his previous role in The Insider. He changed his mind after hearing Ridley Scott was the director, but surprisingly, didn't go on some crazy workout plan to lose the weight. Instead, he just did a lot more work around his farm. Also, Maximus's habit of rubbing the soil before his fights was a show of remembrance to his former life as a farmer. Although it looks to be unintentional, Ridley Scott's Gladiator shares many of the same plot points as the film The Fall of the Roman Empire. The movie's main character is a man named Livius, who, like Maximus, is intended to be the successor to Marcus Aurelius. He's in love with Lucilla, while in Gladiator, Maximus had a prior relationship with her. In both films, Marcus Aurelius is assassinated, and Commodus assumes control of the throne. And in both movies, Commodus unsuccessfully tries to recruit both Livius and Maximus, the only difference being that after Livius rejects his offer, he still continues to employ him. The finale of The Fall of the Roman Empire and Gladiator look largely the same, with both men killing Commodus in single combat, albeit for different reasons. Livius to save Lucilla, and Maximus to avenge his fallen wife and son, although they did share the common goal of killing Commodus for the greater good of Rome. In the movie industry, it's common for scripts to undergo changes right before filming, but what Gladiator did, which was starting production with only 32 pages of the script completed, and basically writing the whole thing while filming, is almost unheard of. Because of this, the plot of Gladiator had integral parts changed that gave a whole different meaning to the film. The biggest of these changes was to the family of Maximus. In the original script, his family was actually never killed, and they even came to the arena to watch him fight as a gladiator, which sounds crazy because that event was literally the driving force behind the movie, and the reason why his revenge was so sweet in the end. The acronym SPQR, tattooed on the arm of Maximus, stands for Senatus Populusque Romanus, the official emblem of the Roman government. Back in those days, the symbol was inscribed on many items, from currency to monuments, and even on the uniforms of Roman soldiers and officers. But you most likely wouldn't have seen SPQR tattooed on a Roman legionary, as they bore a different mark of unknown origin. The real-life Commodus wasn't all too different from Ridley Scott's vision of the Gladiator Emperor. There's no indication he actually wanted to be with his sister, but his other terrible acts certainly make up for this one lie. Known by many accounts to be a megalomaniac, he often compared himself to Hercules, and like the film showed, he had a certain fascination with gladiatorial combat. He didn't kill many of his opponents, as they would submit to him and were spared, but in private, Commodus would offer no mercy and slay his sparring partners. For fun, he would order wounded soldiers and citizens who lost their feet to be tied up. so he could club them to death. If that wasn't enough, Commodus loved to kill all kinds of exotic animals, such as lions, giraffes, hippos, you name it, and he probably killed it. At one point in time, every morning he'd wake up and massacre hundreds of animals before lunch came around, and all for no apparent reason. These outrageous acts disgusted the Roman people and is largely seen as the reason behind why he was finally assassinated. When Maximus describes his home to Marcus Aurelius,
Kitchen garden smells of bulbs in the day. Jasmine in the evening.
Russell Crowe was actually calling upon a recollection of his own farm in Australia. One of the memorable parts of the opening battle sequence was the partially burned down forest that served as the backdrop. For me, it added to the overall grittiness of the scene and definitely made the battle more epic. But when they first arrived on set at what is known as Bourne in Surrey, England, it looked nothing like it does in the film. That's because before they started filming, they had to burn down the forest themselves. And no, it's not because Ridley Scott is some sort of pyromaniac. The entire area had been marked for deforestation. So he was simply saving the government money and getting what he wanted at the same time. For the most part, I'd say that Gladiator is pretty historically accurate. But with any historical film, especially one from a period so far back as the Roman Empire, there are going to be inaccuracies. One of the biggest mistakes, well, I don't know if you can even call it a mistake, as it was done for the sake of entertainment value, is the use of catapults and ballistas in the opening battle sequence. In real life, you would have never seen those machines in a forest or an open battle. It just wasn't practical, so they were strictly used for sieging cities. This was obviously one historical inconsistency they just didn't care about, because, let's be honest, who doesn't love catapults launching exploding firebombs? As I stated before, Maximus was not a real historical figure, but if there was one person he could be compared to in terms of career and personality, it would have to be Claudius Pompeianus. Pompeianus was the chief general of the Roman armies and one of the emperor's closest advisors. He also married Lucilla, and it's believed that Marcus Aurelius wanted Pompeianus to succeed him as Caesar, and just like Maximus, he didn't want the job. If I had to pick one character in the film who was portrayed most faithfully in terms of historical accuracy, it would have to be Marcus Aurelius. He was known as the last of the 5 good emperors, and even authored the famous book Meditations, considered to be one of the greatest books on philosophy ever written. His reign was noted by a smallpox pandemic, which wiped out 1/10 of the population, and even killed the emperor himself. Perhaps the biggest mistake Marcus Aurelius made in his lifetime was appointing Commodus as the heir to the throne. Whether he knew the extent of his son's depravity is lost in time, but there also remains the fact that if he was to appoint anyone else emperor, it would have most certainly caused a civil war that may have been even more disastrous than just letting his evil son take the throne. Finally, Gladiator 2 is now fully confirmed, and a release date seems to be likely in 2023 or 2024. Plot details are obviously scarce, but we do know a couple things. The film is set to take place 20 years after the events of the first movie, and will follow the son of Lucilla, Lucius Verus. There were some earlier rumors about the sequel being of the supernatural type, with Maximus languishing in purgatory before being resurrected by the Roman gods to become some kind of immortal superhero. But thank Jesus, that script never saw the light of day. Let's just hope the real Gladiator sequel is done in a way that doesn't tarnish the reputation of the first one. Cause I feel like, unfortunately, a lot of sequels nowadays don't live up to the hype. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a like, and I got a couple of other videos in the works that I'm pretty excited about, so don't forget to subscribe. Alright, till next time, have a good one.
Welcome back to Warwood Cinema. I'm your host, Greg, your local metalhead, and with me is...
Par the Collecto.
Do not be trouble, or you are in Elysium, and you're already dead!
Hey, what's up everyone? It's Ryan here from The Y, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Roman epic Gladiator. To me, it's a film that never gets old, no matter how many times you've seen it, and also one of the best in terms of...
You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in Paris?
What they call it, a quarter pounder with cheese?
Yeah, they get the metric system. They don't know what the fuck a quarter pounder is.
And what do they call it?
They call it Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese.
That's right.
Hey guys, it's Ryan, and today I have a very special video for you on Pulp Fiction. It's my all-time favorite movie by a long shot, and I gotta say, I really enjoy making this because, as we all know, Tarantino movies are also finely tuned. It's literally impossible to catch every little reference and detail, but I tried to do just that. Alright, here are 50 facts you didn't know about Pulp Fiction. At the very beginning of the overdose scene, Mia is wearing Vincent's coat. Moments later, she goes to light a cigarette and is no longer wearing it, but the coat magically appears back on her once the cigarette is lit. No real answer is given in the film, but Tarantino revealed that Butch is the one who keyed Vincent's car.
Looking at something from my friend Palooka.
And if you didn't know, a palooka is a boxer who isn't very good, or a boxer who takes a dive for money.
Teddy, well, sometimes you see a fighter with a glass chin. This one has a glass glove. His left glove gets hit. Like the first one goes, now that's nothing. Then the other one hits the shoulder. I'm sorry. Tate has a glass shoulder.
Vincent Vega's 1964 Chevelle Malibu belonged to Tarantino and was stolen during production of the movie. The car didn't resurface until 2013, when a cop noticed two teenagers stripping a car. After arresting them and researching the car, he discovered the car's VIN number had been altered and the vehicle was stolen. The owner, who had recently purchased the car, was unaware that it was stolen and that its rightful owner was Quentin Tarantino. A range of different actresses were considered for the part of Mia Wallace, including Isabella Rossellini, Meg Ryan, Daryl Hannah, Joan Cusack, and Michelle Pfeiffer. Probably the most interesting candidate was Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who, according to her agent at the time, couldn't take the role because of her commitment to Seinfeld. Jules' iconic "Bad Motherfucker" wallet belonged to Tarantino and, of course, was a reference to the theme song from Shaft. Tarantino gave the wallet to Jackson's character Jules, and amazingly, 6 years later, Samuel L. Jackson went on to star in the sequel.
For success. If not, my guess is they're going to move for a vote of no confidence. Maghahanap ng ibang kapalit bilang chairman. You have a successor. It seems like he's embraced you too. Hindi niya pipirmahan yung mga dokumento sa legal guardianship sa ospital and subject himself to a DNA test just to make sure that all of this is legal and binding. Wow.
Your wish is my command, my dear Jules. Grabe naman yung sulat ng Janet, guys.
Together this September to fall in love. Estrada, Alexa Ibaka, Ron Simmons, simula September 11, 8 p.m.
Kapag nakakita ko ng pagkakataong masenso, wala akong pake kung kailangan ko malapa kung malaki ng iba.
Pero dito sa